Hi, I'm Dave. This is a Cyderbaby pod, and I'm speaking to Lance Lopez. Hello.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for having me on Cyderbaby. It's an honor to be here.
No worries. You're a little bit of a legend in your own lifetime, aren't you? You've worked with how many people? Loads of people within the blues industry?
Oh, yeah. I've been very fortunate to have been the guitar player for a lot of legendary blues and soul artists early on in my career. Starting about 17, I was guitar player for Johnny Taylor, Bobby Blue Bland, Johnny Guitar Watson with Milton. Did some shows with James Brown.
All right.
In fact, a number of great soul singers. So in that time period, Lucky Peterson, Buddy Miles, worked with a lot of great artists. Very fortunate.
So how did it all come about? What inspired you to get into the blues and soul scene?
Well, I was, to show my age, I grew up playing the guitar in the 80s, the height of, rock and roll, rock music in the 80s. But I was always drawn to the generation before in the late 60s and the 70s, which were all blues-based artists, and mainly, a lot of guitarists from the UK, that really inspired me. And I didn't, at the time, as a child, I didn't understand they were blues guitar players.
Right.
Like Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck and Alvin Lee, Mick Taylor, Peter Green. These guitar players were my, what I was drawn to. And then, also Leslie West, Mountain, and those kind of guitar players, Michael Bloomfield. And so I didn't realize they were they were blues players. And I connected with that. And it wasn't until we moved to Texas from Louisiana. I was born in Louisiana. And it wasn't until we moved to Texas when I was 12 years old. My mother took me to see B.B. King. My father had introduced me to King, and I knew he was a great blues singer. And so when we got to the concert, everyone there had a T-shirt on that said SRV on it, and I didn't know what that was, And we were in Dallas, and B.B. King came out early, and that was kind of confusing. And then the DJ of our local radio station, Q102 there in Dallas, came out and said that because it was his hometown night, they were going to let this guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, headline the concert. And I had no idea who this Stevie Ray Vaughan guy was. I never heard of him, didn't know anything about him. And sitting just a few meters away, literally right in front of Stevie Ray Vaughan, and at the height, 2 months before he passed away, it was life changing. And then to see B.B. King and Stevie Ray Vaughan jam together, that's there and then I decided that I wanted to play the blues.
Okay, so on your recorded side, how many albums have you put out yourself now?
Up to date right now, I think we've got 9 albums. We're working on we've got 2 live albums and about 7 or 8 studio records, and we're now working on a new studio album right now. The last one we put out was in 2018, I believe. It's called Tell the Truth on Mascot. And now we're working on a new record right now, and we have been for the last year or so.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about this. When are you expecting to get this out, and what are your plans for it?
We kind of started at the height of the pandemic. I knew that we needed to get a new album going pretty soon, and we were kind of geared up and ready to go back on the road in 2020.
Yep.
When everything shut down. And so, that left a lot of time at home and to write. And so there was a songwriting partner of mine that had worked with me when I was a member of Supersonic Blues Machine, when I was the front man and guitar player in Supersonic Blues Machine. And also on my last solo album, there was a writer and guitar player named Joey Syke. And so he had been writing songs with me. And so Joey reached out to me at the height of the pandemic and said, we need to go ahead and work on a new record. And I would like to produce the record, and I've got songs. And we had songs we had been working on for a couple of years before that. So songs we had worked on for Supersonic Blues Machine together, songs that we had worked on for a next album. So we had material. We just needed to start recording it. So I got a home recording set up. And then Joey began having musicians record in Los Angeles, bass players and drummers, and which we got some really great drummers on the record. We got Steve Perrone playing on some that played with Eric Clapton and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. We've got Greg Bissonette that played with David Lee Roth and Electric Light Orchestra, who plays with Ringo Starr's All-Star Band. We've got we just now recently got the great Brian Tichy from Whitesnake and Foreigner, and so we've got some great drummers on the album.
You have indeed.
It's almost like Supersonic Blues Machine was guest guitar players. This album is almost like guest drummers. We've got some really great drummers on this record. The guitar player, I don't know.
Oh, don't say yourself
we
short.
don't know about the guitar player and the singer yet. We're trying to get that guy together. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But so it's been really cool. As a matter of fact, we're working on more this week. So we're hoping to have a single out within the next 2 months.
Oh, brilliant. Yep. So what's that going to be called, or are you sworn to secrecy?
So our upcoming single is going to be called Wild Country. And I'd like to say a B-side because we like to release two. It's called Take a Swing. And so Wild Country is kind of it's kind of a rough and tumble kind of rustic story of my life. It kept on the tradition of the last album and Tell the Truth. We had some pitfalls and follies and stumbles along the way, and it kind of just goes into that, that very Odyssey-esque quest that is my life. So we kind of go along those lines with the story of Wild Country, and it's kind of just being out here in the world, and especially in 2020, it was pretty wild country. It's kind of like being out in the old times, where you kind of have to fend for yourself and get through the wild country. So out in the wild, so that's where we're going with the new single. And so we are doing a crowdfunder for the new album. The crowdfunder is it's an Indiegogo, and it's LL New Album Project. And during the height of the pandemic, the label I was on, Mascot Provo, made some cutbacks, and I was part of those cutbacks. And so I knew that we still needed to get some music out. So it's an idea that we tossed around with Supersonic Blues Machine before that, was to do a crowdfunder and have fans involved in the music.
Yeah. And
so that's the approach I'm taking with this album, is that, we're offering perks of all kinds to get our fans and our diehard believers and everybody that we know and love involved in the album, and give them ownership of the album by making a contribution to the record. We're offering house concerts and dinner meals, and play a show at your house. We're offering like lifetime VIP backstage access to hang with us. We're offering also a very interesting one. We're offering a song that Joey Sykes and I will write with you or for you, and about whatever subject you want, and you will own the publishing. You have ownership of that.
Yeah.
And Joey's really good about getting songs placed in films and TV and really cool places. So that's a really cool thing that we've never thought about. Plus, there's merch packages, there's signed CDs, there's free downloads. All those things that entail that we have those that believe in Lance Lopez and those that believe in this style of music and blues rock and this genre. It gives them a tangible thing to be a part of this album, that they're contributing. Their name will be on the liner notes, of the record. It's the first time in the history of my albums that we've given, those who believe and listen and that are diehard believers in Lance Lopez, a tangible way to be a part of the album.
Well, that's excellent. Bringing the fans in certainly brings you closer to the fans as well. So it's almost like a live performance as well, just, something personal. Thinking of live performances, how is that going for you at the moment with lockdowns, COVIDs, and various other things?
Right. Well, we just started. Things have began to ease up here in America, and we've started to go back home. So I've started since the pandemic and the year before that. You know, where I really focused on my wellness and my health and recentering myself. We have chosen to go back and begin working at home again. We started back in Texas, almost in the beginning stages, if you will. It's like I felt like this was a rebirth, and this was a period of coming back and doing things anew. So we have began playing back home in Texas and Louisiana and in the southern regional states. I'm in Nashville now. I'm living in Tennessee. I moved from Texas, so I've been here for the last 3 years prior to COVID. So we're kind of staying close to this area and just going back to our roots. And hopefully within the next year and the next several months, we'll begin to branch out. We'll be able to come back over to the UK, Europe, and the rest of North America. So we're looking forward to that. And hopefully by the time we have the album out, we'll be able to get out and support it. And that's a lot of what the crowdfunder is about too, is to help us, get out and support, have tour support so that we can come and play for those who want to see us live.
Okay. Lance, I look forward to seeing you sometime in the very near future. And thank you for your precious time here on the Cyderbaby Pub. Thank you. And
thank you so much, Dave.
Okay. Take care.
Cheers, mate.